rise. We're thankful for closing one season and being fortunate enough to see all 4 seasons in Southern Illinois. We thank you for the abilities that are given from this board, the staff, the employees, that you'll continue to bless us to do our jobs and do the well for the public. We pray for those that stay in the
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call?
Sure will. Kent Pitts,
Here.
Dale Foster,
Here.
Max Miller,
Here.
David Gould, and absent is Bobby Toller.
Having a quorum, I'll officially call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda, we need to approve the minutes of regular meeting on March the 8th. Everybody had a chance to look at those. Motion to approve the minutes as written. I'll say.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Gould.
Yes. Before we get into public comments, since our last meeting, everybody to keep Grant Capel's family in their prayers. His mother passed away. I'm sure most of you know that. Then also Commissioner Toller is not here this morning. His mother-in-law passed away last night, so keep his family in prayers. Any public comments? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question, Max. Is there any particular reason why you moved comments to the front of the meeting instead of the end?
Actually, that's where they're supposed to be according to Robert's Rules of Order, and that's what we're supposed to go by.
Well, I knew Robert's rules of order they are, but you kind of have to go by the,
No,
Public Meetings Act.
well, yeah, public meetings, but we go by.
it's your choice
It's
where you. put it.
Robert's Rules of Order, yeah, and it is my choice.
Okay. I'm just curious if there was a reason why you had.
No, that's the reason. Anyone else? I will go into the committee reports, and then I'll, anybody have anything to report, Lawrence? I attended, the Economic Development Board and Chamber meeting on Tuesday evening, as our representative, and they are looking at combining forces and coming up with a kind of a new set of plans to entice some things in Union County, which I think is great. It was a very productive meeting. It'll probably take all the rest of the year to get that in place, but that is going on. Pardon?
Putin met last night. I went to that meeting. They'll be here in a couple weeks to make a presentation.
So they did have some applications.
Yes.
Building permits.
First one's from Dale Pearman, 042902-640. It's for a home addition, in previously subdivided area with no floodplain issue. Next one is for Davis Land Company, 1226-07167. It's for a shed with no subdivision issues. It's in a floodplain, and the variance is attached. It's recommended for approval. This one has to be signed 3 times.
Do you have anything to
Now, we've got 2 more little timber bridges this week. Some steps in the right direction. I think we're up to 14 since we've started this process. This is budget cycle.
Are we getting caught up on the road situations for?
Well, we were addressing pothole issues and ditching and those kind of things, and we got the 2 back-to-back rains, which caused us a lot of problems, damage on our system. We're getting most of those put back together and starting back in on potholes and ditching and things we love to do this time of year.
Anybody have any questions on the building permits? I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve both building permits.
I'll second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Gould.
County finances, Lee, you have anything you want to report?
We had a tax sale last week, covering our official posting out the 17 payable 18, and we're in progress for the 18 payable 19.
We did have a meeting this week, with the assessor and Lee and Lance, and we are right on target as far as getting the taxes out, a little earlier this year. We're not going to get them out like we really want to because they were so late last year, so it doesn't hit everybody too quickly. But we will gain a month on it this year, looks like, and then hopefully next year gain another month, and that should put us where we need to be. Say. Old business, any updates on the audit? And the auditors are here now, by the way, doing the annual audit. They've been here all week.
Yeah, I don't have much to update on the 17 findings. We're pretty close to have them all closed out. So I'm supposed to review those with the auditor next week. So by your next board meeting, we can do a rundown of all the findings and how they were all closed out. Like you said, they were here this whole week, and she said everything's moving right along. Everyone's getting her all the information she needs. And so they sent out more requests. They're going to give everybody time to pull the last bit of information they need. And then they will be back next week, Wednesday through Friday, with the goal of being done with the audit by next Friday.
Thank you. New business, approve all of payment of bills. Has everybody had a chance to look over the bill list? Any questions?
Second.
One second. You guys are moving quick this morning. Who's second? I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Next on the agenda is the U of I extension budget agreement, which we do every year at this time. The amount is remaining the same that we give to them, $40,000 on an annual basis.
Jody wasn't able to attend, but
Oh, okay.
Chrissy Stout, I'm just the youth development educator for the unit, and I'm sure you all have copies of these, so you can make sure just to have a copy of you.
Sorry about that, I didn't see Joe. but I didn't know.
That's okay. And I'll leave extras if anybody else wants to do it. Again, we, continue to thank Union County for the support, and just to kind of update, 4-H is growing very strong here in Union County. The SNAP program, which is, of course, federally funded through the government. We've really been working closely with your food pantries and trying to grow more food pantries here in the county. So there's lots of good work in youth development and, of course, in adult education going on. So Jody did want me to mention that in years past, as the boards, continue to change, we used to do even monthly or every other month updates where we would sometimes send youth, sometimes it would be myself or the other educators. We will welcome to do that again if that's something you all would like us to do, so at any time we can, definitely continue that practice. It just kind of seemed to change over the years.
Well, I think it would be a good idea, maybe possibly, I don't know what these guys think, but like on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly? Yeah.
Something like that. It would be good to get an update, see what's going on.
Definitely. In January, you probably received the impact reports. Hopefully you had a chance to look at that. That really in detail explains all of the specific numbers and percentages and different things that are happening here in Union County. So those are continuously increasing. We're reaching about 25% of the youth, 15% is the state target, so we're well above the state target as well. So I will also leave calendars and some programs and different things for you all in the house. So,
Okay.
any questions?
Anybody have any? Appreciate that.
All right, I think this just requires one signature. I think.
Yes. So I need a motion to approve the budget agreement with the extension.
I'll say.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, we have 5 old flip phones that we want to donate to the Family Counseling Center. They're wanting to have them in cars just for a 911 emergency. That's about all they're good for. In order to do that, you need to declare them as surplus property to allow us to do that. So I need a motion for that to take place, please.
I'll say.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is approval of the collective bargaining agreement between the county and Union County Circuit Clerk's Office and Labor Local 773. It is officially done. It's similar, pretty much the same, is the same as the other contracts that we have already approved this year. Basically, a 2.5% raise, so everybody knows what's in these contracts. The health insurance over a 3-year period, a $40, $50, and $60 contribution. This is a 3-year contract, just like the rest of them. Actually in effect from 12/1/17, we're just now getting it done. So we've got basically 2 more to go. Is that right? Yeah. Highway Department, FOP, we're still working on. But I need a motion to approve this contract, please.
I'll move. I'll second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is approval of a copier bid for purchase. We received these bids, this past week, so forth. You want to talk a little bit about that, Andy?
Yes, I can give you a rundown. So you have the schedule up there. We received 5 bids from 4 bidders. So the first 2 that you see there are from the same bidder, 2 different products. Up at the top, you have your section of the fair market value totals. And then down at the bottom, you have the dollar buyout, meaning that at the end of the lease, we will own the machine. So that's the difference between the top and the bottom section. For the first bidder that's on here, the first machine that was bid it's called an off-lease machine. I've talked to the bidder. How they explained it is it's a machine that someone else has used before. Their lease is up. They have did not do the dollar buyout, so the machine went back to the company. The company has checked it out, and then they release it to the next company. So it's a used machine checked out by the company. The second one from the same vendor is also a used machine, but it's actually been sent to, I think you pronounce it Rico, and they change all the parts on it and reset the copy count back to 0. And then, so it's a used machine, but it does have new parts on it. I'm sorry, I'm going to go backwards. The first machine, this is for one large machine for the treasurer's office and 3 small printers for a few, or treasurer assessor's office, and 1 for my office. So the total cost for the first one was $9,280. The total cost for the second bid from this bidder was $14,090, and that's over the 5-year term. So then the third bid we received, it's from a different company. It's for a new machine. The brand is a Konica. The brand of the first 2 were Savins. The brand is a Konica. The total expense over the 5 years for the fair market value is $10,429. For the dollar buyout, $11,095. So the fourth bid we received, third bidder, is for a Sharp. It is also a new machine. For the fair market value, the amount is $11,446, and the dollar buyout is $12,526. And then for the last bidder, the machine brand is a Xerox. For the fair market value, the total bid is $16,333, and then for the dollar buyout, it's $17,851. So when you look at all the bids, the lowest new machine is what you see on your list as bidder B, which is the Konica. The lowest total machine is bidder A. It's the off-lease used Savin. So the difference between those 2 is around $1,500 over 5 years.
I think it figures out about $27 a month.
$27 a month more for the new machine versus the used machine. Any questions or any more information? The second page you has actually breaks down what their bids were for the machines versus the maintenance agreement. But it's all, and then the summary is what you're looking at the beginning. Those prices include the machine lease and the toner, so we don't have to pay for toner for over the term.
And what we usually look at, so everybody is usually the 60-month lease and the dollar buyout. That way we've got another machine here. So. Have any discussion on this, guys? What anybody thinks?
What's the recommendation?
Well, my recommendation, for what it's worth, we've been down this road before. I prefer to get a new machine, not a used one. The difference is money. Not that much difference in money, except $27 a month. More is what it would cost us to have a new machine. I just don't see the point of signing a lease or buying for 5 years, a used machine that I don't know anything about. But that's my opinion. Anybody else have any ideas on this? Speak up.
Just how old are those used machines? Don't know.
It doesn't say how old they are, but the second one is actually the green line, but it's a lot more expensive than even the brand new ones. But the cheapest one of the used machines is what he considered an off lease, which he told me it means that it's been leased by someone else and they are finished with it. he didn't say how old the machine was, but usually leases with the company are about 5 years. So it's probably a 5-year-old machine. So then at the end of our term, it would be 10 years old. And if you do the dollar buyout, then you would own it, but you'd have a 10-year-old machine.
Right. Okay.
Speak up if you got any questions or concerns. So if you're ready, I'll make a motion that we take bidder B with the new machine for the 60-month lease with the dollar buyout. There's no effect.
Your bidder B, if you look on your back sheet, it gives you all the detail. Your bidder B is CDS.
Yep.
So that's probably how you want to reflect your motion.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have a second? I'll say.
Sorry, I'm still writing this out. All right, Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
That's everything on the agenda. We have nothing for executive session. Anybody else have anything?
I was gonna, real quick, the publication went out for the ballot yesterday. Jeff, I know you're here, but we got mixed up on one, there's one name misspelled that was published. That is actually fixed and taken care of, so the ballots are right. So, it's a Trenton Collier, I believe, is running for Shawnee, School District. And so anyway, that's fixed, but the one that we got mixed up, it happens. But anyway, so just letting everybody know that if you do see an error on that is already fixed and the ballots are correct.
Any other office holders have anything?
I just have a quick question. You guys had voted on the collective bargaining agreement for my office, and you had indicated that primarily it has stayed the same. So I just wanted to know from a business perspective, what decision did you base it on to sign my agreement today when the 7th person in the management is still in my budget, when we've not been able to come to a resolution and that I still have money in my funds that have not been appropriated? So as good faith, if you're not going to abide by it, why would you want to enter into the agreement to sign it if I'm still going to have to lay off and then eliminate the management position?
I don't think it's appropriate to talk about that since we're still under agreements on that.
But you're still going to move forward though and sign it that you guys had already voted?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.